Boom! Hey guys, how we doing? Welcome back, and today we're going to talk about the third eye chakra. I haven't talked about it for a while. I haven't talked about chakras for a while at all. However, yesterday I was doing a bit of a meditation and doing some healing on myself, and I saw the Buddha and I saw Ganesh in my third eye, and I thought, wow, what an interesting pair of visions that I came to see. And then I got the information that I need to talk about the third eye. So here we are today. So the third eye chakra, what is it? Well, it is usually depicted around about here, but it's pretty much in the middle of the head. It's also known as the pineal gland. It's quite a mystical part of the brain, one that is heavily targeted to kind of reduce its power, reduce its effect. We can use crystals, we can use healing, we can use various things that can help to activate it on a better frequency. But I just wanted to dispel a little bit of a myth that a lot of people talk about, and a lot of people say my third eye chakra is blocked. I can't use my third eye chakra, it's not functioning. How do I open it? Your third eye is always open, but there are various levels that we need to go through before we start to see a lot more with the third eye. So that's what I wanted to talk about a little bit about today. I wanted to talk a little bit about the various ways in which we see things and how the third eye works, because the third eye is always working in everyday life. So it's not just a spiritual thing, it's a tool that we use within our mind, within our brain, within everyday circumstances. So I wanted to cover a little bit of that with this video today. So it's very heavily talked about within the spiritual community because of this mystical power that we have within it, and it's been known about through eons and eons, and all about this energy and this connection to spirit, connection to the spirit realm, connection to the universe, and to so much more. But the fact is that we use the third eye within everyday practice. Whatever we're doing every day, we use a third eye on some level. So I've made a few notes down, so if I do look down, then that's why because there was quite a lot that came through, because I was doing a little bit of channeling this morning, and quite a lot of information that did come through, and I've tried to jot down and automatic write as much of this information that I could for a video of what's going to be roughly around about 20 minutes, fingers crossed. So third eye, so as I've already mentioned, it's always open to some degree. And the way that we can usually note that it's always open on whatever level it may be within our physical life is it's how we perceive things, it's how we see things. So if it's really quite wide open, you may see with your physical eye. So your physical eyes are here, but your spiritual eye, your metaphysical eye is within your brain. But with your physical eyes and your metaphysical eye, they do work together as well. So you may see colours more vividly, you may have more vibrancy within your vision. You may actually have poorer vision but have better connection to your third eye, because this is limited. So there's a lot of mystics and seers from the past that were actually totally blind, but they saw more with their third eye. That's something that we'll maybe get into later in this video. It's also, your third eye is also how you see others and how you perceive others to be. So when you look at someone, you get the feeling that, oh, I'm not sure about them. Oh, they've got a really nice, they look really, really bouncy. They've got a really lovely aura about them. They've got a really good energy about them. It's just something that you feel about them. You are connecting through not just your third eye, but other senses within you as well, your clairsentience and other elements. But mainly coming from your third eye is this intuitive feeling, this inner knowing that there is something about that person that either resonates with you or doesn't resonate with you, or you want to know more about that person. So that is one of the few ways that we can know that the third eye is working within everyday life. I also got the vision when I was getting this information before about the third eye, that when we think about the third eye, we think of it either being, a lot of people talk about it being either just shut, blocked, not working at all, or fully open. And like I said, that's not true. There are very many levels between that. It's not just closed and then open. There is a lot of different layers that we need to go through within that. And the vision that I was shown is, it's a bit like going back to the 80s. When I was a child, we used to have like things that were called net curtains or voiles up at the window, and when they were up you couldn't see in, but when someone put a light on inside the room, then you could see through the net curtains. And that's the vision that I was getting to, trying to explain how this third eye works. So you will see little aspects of things through this veil, but when the light is on, bing, within, then you're going to see a lot more with the third eye. So that's what I'm talking about with these different levels, these different layers, between using it in an everyday life circumstance to being much more, using it much more on a spiritual sense within your spiritual practice. So the other aspect within life that we use the third eye, dreams are an amazing way for us to connect to our spiritual self and to the spirit that is around us and the energy that is around us, whether we're dreaming in our physical or whether we are out doing the work as well, because more often than not we're out when we're in dream state, and when we're asleep we're out doing the work that our soul needs to do. When we come to wake up, bing, we're back here again. That's why some days you wake up and you think, what have I been doing last night? I feel absolutely jiggered, I feel so tired, I feel like I've been in a fight or whatever, and I just feel so beaten up. That's because things have been going on that you're not aware of, you're not consciously aware of, because subconsciously your energy is off doing the work that it needs to do on the various multidimensional planes that we exist. Also within the physical life, problem solving within the third eye is another huge aspect of how we use it. So you might be thinking, well, that's more of an analytical thing. Well, yeah, it is analytical. However, when we are problem solving and when we're looking at things within life that we need to solve, we need to try and work out, sometimes we visualize how we're going to do that. We visualize the outcome. We visualize the process that we're going to do it. So you may have a job, you might go to work, you may have whatever role it is that you play within your world, you might have to go in at that time in the morning and you have to get to that point at the end of the day by that time. And yes, you can plan your day out methodically in an analytical form, but you also picture yourself and see the ways in which you're going to do that and the ways in which you're going to stitch your day together to create that outcome. You are using your third eye. You're obviously using your analytical mind, but your third eye is also playing out within that. So that's another aspect of how the third eye is working within your physical world. So problem solving life as well. So life situations, you may have an issue at work, you may have an issue with family, you may have an issue with loved ones, with partners, you may have an issue with whatever it may be within life. We visualize this in our mind. You know, it can affect us, it can prey on our mind, and we can see the various outcomes, the different things that can happen, the different things that can play out. And that is it's your mind, so it's the overthinking mind, but it's also the visualization that is going on within the mind is creating the scenarios. And sometimes these visualizations can if you've got issues such as anxiety, mental health, which is what obviously I used to have years ago and have had issues with, then sometimes these visions and these thoughts can kind of combine because you're not, because you haven't done the work, because you haven't worked out how all this stuff is going on and what is happening within the mind and bringing yourself to a quiet centered place. Sometimes it can play a little bit more havoc than good. So it's about understanding these different parallels that are going on within ourselves, within our multi-dimensional selves, and how the life, the programming, what we do within life, and the visualizations that take place, and how balanced our mind is. If our mind is balanced and we can see a clear outcome and a clear purpose and a clear pathway, then we are balanced, we are focused, we are functioning on all levels within our energy. And our third eye chakra is giving us the information that we need to move forward through that. if it's not balanced, then you're going to have all sorts of different ideas, thoughts, feelings, emotions, scenarios, visuals coming in that can create havoc within your mind. So it's about bringing balance to that and understanding how we can bring balance to that. There's lots of videos on this channel to do with that, to do with meditation, to do with calming the mind, to do with breath work. So, have a look through the channel, see if anything jumps out to you, see if anything jumps out to your third eye that thinks, oh, that might be good for what I need. Have a look about. But again, there's lots of other amazing channels on YouTube that will give you this sort of information as well. The other part of life that we use our third eye with is to do with imagination. So usually imagination can be for what children tend to use a lot of. Children have an amazing, they're so open that they're not blocked by the system, they're not blocked by the matrix, they're not blocked by reality or work or the mainstream way that we have to live. They are just unique open souls that are just ready to see, be and visualize everything. And it's the programming through life that starts to put these, doesn't block, but it puts these filters over. But the imagination we also use in later life. So when we're having a laugh and a joke with someone, we're talking about different things and we create this joke and this scenario in our mind. So we're visualizing these things and that's how we play that out. So the imagination is a really, really powerful way to tap in and tune into the third eye. And a lot of people talk about the imagination, and I've said this before in videos, it's just make believe, it's all fantasy, it doesn't exist. But in another video I did say, make believe, you're creating out of your belief. So the way it's been explained, it's just make believe, that's become like a bit of an overused term because you are creating from your belief. So the more we visualize, the more we create, the more we put our imagination out and our third eye into that, and we visualize what we want, we can achieve and we can see the outcome within our third eye. So the imagination is extremely powerful. The imagination then moves into the realms of art, creativity, and how we can channel this information. So if you are creative, if you are artistic, then you'll be aware of what I'm talking about. So when you go into that state, you're in kind of like theta state, really. You're in a really, really relaxed place, and when you're creating, time just goes whoosh, time is irrelevant and it just passes so fast, and this creative influx, this information just flows and flows and flows, and whatever you're creating, whether it's drawing, whether it's painting, whatever it may be, it just comes out of your hands, and it is an amazing place to be in. And you receive a lot of information that way as well through your third eye, when you're channeling this information, and how you can put it out onto canvas. That piece of art there and that one there were both very much channeled. There's another piece over the other side of the room, but it was all very much channeled, and it was like, right, I need to create this is what I'm feeling, and I just let my hand be taken wherever it needed to be taken on the canvas, and that's what I created. So there's a few elements of how our third eye operates within the physical world. So, as I was talking about before, about the being analytical, so planning your day out. So this is another aspect of how we use our third eye, and it's seeing how things work, seeing how things operate, knowing how things operate, or just visualizing in your mind, well, how does that work? What happens there? That must go into there. And you're visualizing things within the process of something working and operating, and it creates a curious mind. And a curious mind starts to open up, and it wants to know more, it wants to achieve more information, it wants to gain and channel more wisdom within your soul, so you can feel and resonate this information and see it and put it out there. And sometimes that wisdom comes from nowhere. It just comes from an inner knowing that you've downloaded, and something is within you that just says, well, this is how it works. And then someone will say, well, how do you know that? Well, I don't know, it just did. And it's the same with things like when people go to certain places that they've had a past life connection with, and they come into this life and they go somewhere, and they can visualize and they see exactly with their third eye where they need to go and what they need to do. And people say, well, how do you know? all this? And like, I don't know. This is just information that I have within me, within my soul. And that happens a lot of times with people. So this curiosity, when we start to open this curiosity, it brings in an element of questioning. So you start questioning things and you want to know a little bit more. You want to go a little bit deeper into information and into how things work, how things operate, why say the world operates the way it does, why people operate the way they do within the world, to fit what they feel is normal within the world. But you're also, because when your third eye starts to open as well, because you become more questioning and curious of things, people will be a bit like, that's strange, why is he questioning it, why doesn't he just not do it, why doesn't he just not do as he's told, why doesn't he just not get on with it? And because but that's because you're tuning into something deeper. You're tuning into your soul, and something within your soul, within your third eye, is saying, well, this isn't quite right. I don't like the feeling of this. And it's a bit like that feeling that we talked about, where you see someone and you have that feeling and you're like, I'm not sure about them, or I quite like them, or I quite like this feeling, this situation. And this will start to play in as well when we go more into spiritual contexts. But you will also have to be more accepting of criticism. So as the third eye starts to open more and more, and you start to question, see, and know more within yourself from what your third eye and the information that you're getting, you will be open to a lot more criticism. A lot more people will question you, and a lot more people will kind of point the finger at you and think, because you don't fit the mainstream anymore, because you're starting to see things in a much different way. And a lot of people are going through this now. Millions and millions of people are going through this shift. This is why it's called the awakening. We're awakening to the truth, the reality that is all around us. And one of the little tests that you will find as your third eye is starting to open is, if you're not open to criticism or opinions, then you've still got a lot of work to do within yourself, within your mind's eye. But you will also be more aware of a lot more ego around you, a lot more ego within people, because you're starting to see people for who they really are. You're starting to see the way things operate for what they really are, and various levels of let's say systemic control within them to keep that kind of like pressure on, but like you see it for what it is, and you're aware of it, and you will start to feel like you need to come away from that. You need to come away from various places, people, situations, because it's not fitting for you. You are seeing something more within it, and it's affecting your vibration. So if you're going through the day-to-day routine and you're aware of all this stuff, but you're still fitting into that box without stepping out of the box, and by the end of the week you're feeling absolutely just fucked out basically, then there is something that is telling you need to like move away from this, because it is affecting your vibration quite heavily. And if you don't remove that, that's one of the blocks that we talk about. When we talk about block, that's something that can be in life. If you don't remove this element of this block, then you will remain stagnant in that energy for some time, and then there's another level of healing that you need to go through within that. Then after the questioning and the curiosity and the being open to criticism and opinions, you start tuning more into your intuition. You become a lot more questioning. You become a lot more curious about everything in life. You start to become a lot more curious. Your imagination, your curiosity, your visualization will start to peak. It will start to get more and more powerful as well as you move through that. Plus your imagination and your creativity will kind of like escalate to another level, and you may have an attraction to use brighter colors, to use more depth within your work, more detail. You may see things in a totally different way that you need to put out there. But the other part about this is everybody is different. So everybody sees things and experiences this opening and this seeing of the third eye in totally unique, different ways. So what one person will experience, the next person will experience it. There will be some similarities, but it will be totally unique to them, to their journey, because it's a connection to their soul, to their divine, and there is stuff within there, many layers, blocks, cords, entities, attachments, things like that need to be healed and looked at over a lifetime, basically over a long period of time, to bring balance to this unity of consciousness within you. And then moving on to the last point is within the spiritual matters. So seeing spirit, seeing energy, and using discernment. So this discernment comes from this critical thinking, this almost methodical visualization, sensing, putting it all together, and having a discernment within yourself about whether you think something is right, something is wrong, what they're saying is right and what they're saying is wrong, or maybe you're on the fence with it, maybe it's not right or wrong, but there is some truth within both. That again comes from the third eye, because it's all about having this level of understanding and bearing in mind the third eye is in a constant process of unveiling. So it's not just kind of like closed then open. There's so many different layers, and I don't think there is kind of like ever a true open within the physical body, because we're physical and we're so dense. You know, the spirit kind of side of things takes a lot more work, a lot more connection if you wanted to delve down that side of things. And some people you tend to find get kind of stuck at one point, and that's fine because that's their journey and that's what they need to do. Other people will find that they want to heal and get past that and be able to tune in deeper with themselves and see more and be aware of more. So when I talk about seeing, when we're no longer really seeing with the physical eye, some people do, some people see things. I see the occasional thing with the physical eye, but a lot of it is with the metaphysical eye, the third eye chakra. And it's where we tune in and when it starts to operate and it's operating more on a spiritual level, you'll be aware of colours, you will be aware of signs, symbols, you will see synchronicities, you'll see lots of numbers. Lots of things will just pop out to you that you think, oh, well, I never used to notice this. Why am I noticing this all of a sudden? And that's because you're more aware. Your consciousness is expanding and you're more aware of these things. Also, seeing spirit or seeing energy, a lot of it is, again, to do with the third eye. You can see it a little bit with the physical eye, but with the third eye, there's like a direct connection between the two, and you will get information between the two. Clairvoyantly, clairsentiently, all the different clairs will be in full alignment and full operation, where you will be open to this information. So you may see faces, you may see your spirit guides, your spirit team, you may see relatives and family that have passed over. You may just be aware of energy within the room. You may just think, oh, it feels like there's somebody in here. You know, and again, your third eye is operating. When you get that sensation, what tends to happen for me, especially after that, is I will then see who or what it is that's in the room. I'll get the feeling, and then I'll be like, right, okay, and that's what it'll be. It'll be a seeing, and it's an inner seeing. Again, it's not really with the eyes. It's not with the physical eyes. It's with the metaphysical eyes. So it's an inner seeing. Although I can have my eyes open, I will still see within the mind. And it's the same with seeing energy that is around people, whether you're aware of auras, whether you can see auras, whether you look at someone, there's just something about them that is different to everybody else. So they may be quite spiritual, they may be on an awakening path, they may be in tune with their energy, they may have been doing a lot of healing where they look powerful, they look bright, they look vibrant. They may be on the other end of the spectrum where they're just like need a lot of help, they need a lot of assistance, so their energy, their aura may look really, really low. They may have a lot of dark energy attached to them because it's brought them down to a really, really low place, and so they need some of this healing to lift things off gradually over the course of time and healing sessions, if they're open to that sort of thing. So there we go. Sorry about the dogs are about to just set off. We just about got there without them starting. But anyway, there's a quick video for you with regards to the third eye and how it works, how it operates within the physical world, but also the various levels that we go through to bring it into the spiritual realm, the spiritual world, and how we visualize, how we see. I might do another video about visualization and how we visualize and how we can develop this. But the third eye is always open. The third eye is always operating on some level, and it's through the process of healing, through the process of development, through meditation, through visualization work, through inner work, that will help to alleviate and put that light on within to shine this information in a little bit clearer, so you can be more aware of what is going on within and around you, because the third eye is operating from within as well. So you may see things within yourself that are not right to other people. That's another really, really important aspect. So I think I might do another video on that, to do with the third eye, looking from within, how we see ourselves and how the world sees us. So it might be quite triggering for some people, but we'll see. I'll do that video, and that's about it. So if you've enjoyed this, give me a bing. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Much love to you all. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now.